We on 18, 18. We on 18, 18. All about the semis. We on 18, 18. All about the semis. We on 18, 18, baby. All about the semis. We on 18.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How about you out there, drivers? You just joined another episode of All About Semis podcast / radio. Hope y'all doing good this morning. Got your coffee in your hand, your donut, your hot chocolate, your cup of tea, whatever it may be. Thanks for joining me. Because you could have been doing anything else this morning or this afternoon or whenever you're listening to this pod. But you chose to join your boy, QDZ, the double easy. Let's have it. Man, it's been a interesting last couple weeks, in the market. I've been following a couple things, man, and it's always something in this trucking market. They're talking about what are the rates going to be doing coming, mid part of the year. And I'm noticing that things are keep getting pushed back too, because it's like, the first part of the year, rates supposed to be turning around, blase, blase. Personally, I think it's going to be more closer to after election. It's usually how the trend seems to go, if you will. This trend usually follows election time. Things start to, kind of start normalizing out because people starting to wait, see how things going to go before they start making choices and spending money, which ultimately, affects the whole economy as a whole. But, we'll see. But I wanted to talk about this trucker shortage, right? Let's talk about that today. Let's talk about that. Got a couple things we're going to talk about today, but on this episode this morning, we talking about the driver shortages. And actually, I'm going to, excuse me, if sorry. Don't drink and drive, people. But yeah, I want to talk about these new drivers, man, and some of the things that are happening with some of the new drivers. Whatnot, because the new driver situation seems to change year over year. It's always something, right, about qualifications and things that the drivers have learned. Did you guys know, speaking of learning, I went past my old school that I attended for truck driving about a month ago. And I was blown away by what drivers are learning now. When I was in school, they were still teaching manual, which a lot of schools are not anymore. And also, they are not teaching the hard 90s, which was the alley dock at the school that I went to. We had to learn alley dock, offset, straight line back in, and a couple other little maneuvers here and there. Man, I went in there, I was floored. No more alley dock. They're doing this maneuver that's kind of like an offset, and it's all done in like within a few feet of each other. So you come out of one maneuver and you go right into the next maneuver, where we had to actually drive around the pad and actually set up. So I was talking to my instructor, who's still there, and he was saying, yeah, man, it's a whole lot of stuff. He said, if you can't pass now, he said, you just not meant to be in a truck. And I'm like, I see that. I totally see that. No, nothing, man. I mean, even down to what we had to learn about the in-cab and all that. A lot of stuff they don't even have to say anymore. They don't even need to know. and now you can get in a truck at what? 17, 18 now, I think, in Florida. Crazy. you know? So we're gonna talk about it, you know what I mean? We're gonna talk about it. But this driver shortage, because all this kind of ties into this together, right? You know, this driver shortage, here's my take on the driver, quote unquote, shortage. I don't believe that there is a driver shortage. Never has been. The problem is nobody wants to pay nobody. And what's happening is these newcomers, they're getting these guys out of school, they're promising them the world, and then they get out here and they want to hand them, you know, peanuts. And then they're thinking, man, no, this ain't what they told me it was going to be like. So now you have the revolving door. But even more than that, the problem is these big mega carriers, they have such a revolving door that they can't keep anybody. And the problem with that is, well, when you're a big mega carrier, big trucking company, and you have hundreds, which equates to thousands of trucks sitting across multiple carriers, that's a lot of money not being made. And now they're seeing their revenue drop because they don't have any bodies to put in these trucks. So now they're going to the Congress and saying, hey, there's a truck driver shortage. We don't have no truck drivers. And Congress are running with that. And part of that reason is because Congress got their hands in some of these truck companies' pockets too. They're invested in some of these mega carriers. So it's easier to lead the country to believe that there's a shortage when there's not. I'm here to tell you, it ain't no shortage, y'all. It ain't no shortage. There's plenty of trucks out here. There's plenty of drivers out here. But a lot of guys have thrown in their keys, hung them back up on the rack, because they refuse to run their equipment in this market. And you can't be mad at them. I mean, I'm not mad. I understand it, because everybody can't make it in this market. You know, as one of my homeboys said, my buddy Chris B out there, if you're listening, what did you say, Chris? You said, trucking's not a cookie cutter industry at all. Everything is not going to work for everybody. You know, it's just not going to happen like that. So when you start trying to normalize a rate, a new rate at that, and I mean a new rate for newcomers, new drivers, it's not going to work. You understand? It's just not going to work. Think about it. The reason y'all don't have drivers, you got these mega carriers that's got team trucks, and they're like, okay, we're going to pay y'all 80 cents a mile. They're like, oh man, that's great. And then they realize, wait, we got to split that. That's 40 cents. Come on now. This people done ran for you 5,000, 7,000 miles. You want to hand them 3 peanuts and a chicken bone. And they got to split one of the peanuts to make it even. You wonder why there's a driver shortage. You got a guy come out of school, you run him 3,000 miles all over the country with a trainer that probably don't even really teach him anything. And then you want to hand him 30 cents a mile. Meanwhile, the trainer is getting his mileage plus some of the trainee's mileage. After a while, guys are getting tired of getting $400 paychecks, $700 paychecks, then drove across America for these big companies. Some of the small companies too taking advantage. Y'all ain't exempt, but there's a driver shortage. I don't understand it, man, that, you know, how the government is even just allowing this to just happen, man. I don't know. I'm curious to know what are you guys thinking about this, you know, and can some of you guys relate? I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some students, some, you know, new drivers out there listening, man. I'm curious to know what you guys are actually seeing, you know, behind the wheel. Student drivers, you know, rookie drivers. Leave something down in the comments and holler at your boy, let me know. But that's the problem. And when you're talking about guys, owner-operators that have been in this business a long time and that have been making enough to just take care of their homes and their families, and you want to pull this nonsense that's going on in trucking right now, you wonder why people are hanging their keys up. Because you notice they're not talking about there's not enough trucks. There's not enough drivers is what they're saying. Not enough truck drivers. Think about that, y'all. Come on. They ain't saying there ain't enough trucks out there. Because really, if you don't take my word for it, do your own research, it is the owner-operators, the small mom and pops, y'all, that are make up the most of this trucking industry, you know, and people are hanging it up because it's just a bad situation. Now, their alternative to this situation is we are going to start cutting back some of the restrictions on qualifications to be a truck driver. Now think about that. We already regulated, we going through all this. Everything is already blamed on the truck driver. Every time there's an accident, it's the truck driver's fault. Now you want to put kids in the seat of an 80,000 pound vehicle, you know, and think that's okay. No experience required. Come on out here and jump in the seat because we need drivers. They're not even fully mentally developed. Now, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of very mature 18-year-olds, okay? But some of these people can't even put their phones down for 20 seconds. And these are the people you want to put behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler with no experience. Man, they made me go through 300 plus hours of road training after school when I went to Warner. And you know what? I wouldn't change that for 1 minute because that helped me out in so many ways, you know. But their solution is we're going to put teenagers in behind the seat, you know. And I don't think that's a good idea. I really don't. I think that there should be an age limit, at least 21, you know, before you can be getting behind this truck like that. There are going to be some people that's going to make it and do right by it, and you know that's just the nature of life, you know. I mean, hell, a clock, even a broke clock is right twice a year, a day, you know. So it's just inevitable that some people are going to rise above and be the exception to the rule. But there is no driver shortage, y'all. You know, and the industry is really going to hell because the lawmakers, people that have never driven a truck, sit behind the desk. We call them pencil pushers, and want to make these rules, you know. I don't know, you know. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I'm just a truck driver, so I don't know. But being out here and seeing what I see, I mean, we got drivers out here that are just doing crazy things, you know. Some experienced that are worse than some of the new drivers. And we want to introduce that kind of talent into the industry. Go figure. Now, if we're going to do that, we got to start holding these companies to a different kind of safety standard. You know, we talk about this all the time, y'all. All the time we talk about this. And it's like, when you think about it, right? I'm going down the road, just to give you an example, y'all. See a guy's got his tandem slid all the way to the rear, rolling. I had a buddy of mine, he witnessed the same thing, but he actually stopped to try to help the guy. He said he saw the guy at the scale. He done slid the tandems. He said he watched this guy slid the tandems at least 10 times. And the guy was like, I don't know, I can't figure out what's going on? And he's like, I think I got it now. The weight is right, but the tandems will always slid to the back. He didn't even know that he couldn't drive like that. Come on. So we're not even teaching, we're not even making these companies, these schools teach what they need to be teaching safety-wise, but we want to put students out there behind the wheel with no experience. We're not even making them learn what they need to learn. And here's the other part of that. I didn't learn coupling in school. I didn't learn nothing about sliding no tandems. I knew what the pull handle was. They told us how to do it, but we didn't know why. We never actually did it, you know? How about you guys? Have any of you guys had to actually learn that in school? Interesting wanting to know about that, because that's not something I learned. We had to know what it was to pass the inspection and whatnot. Depending on what part of the truck you got, they did A, B, and C, and I think C was the trailer. You had to know the parts, but you didn't have to physically go out there and slide the tandems and none of that. So I didn't learn that in school. I didn't learn that till I got with my company. And actually, I'm going to let y'all in on a secret. I didn't really learn it and understand it until my boy Hood Chef from Hood Chef TV, shout out to you, homeboy, shout out to you, taught me how to do it. Luckily for me, Hood Chef been driving over 20 plus years, and we used to work at Amazon together. He just so happened to get in trucking again and taught me how to do it. Well, after I was out of school. So yeah, let's talk about it. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, man. I hope you guys enjoying this little podcast series style. Let me know what you think. It's your boy Q Deezy the Double Easy. Drop those comments, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what's going on with you out there. Be safe, drivers. Coming up on the next podcast, we gonna be talking about how to make these munions in different areas of trucking. Be good. Peace out.
Later.